Hey YouTube, it's Mel here. So it's been a little while. I've had a lot going on. My niece was born in February and I've been kind of making a lot of trips to St. Louis, and I had some medical issues again, but we're taking care of those and things are starting to look better now. So I think I'll be able to get back into my kind of once a week posting routine. So I'm excited for that. I'm getting real close to 100 subscribers. So I'm going to do my next giveaway at 100 subscribers. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to go ahead and post a video, and on that video, you'll like it, comment, and if you're subscribed, your name will be entered into a drawing, and the winner will be randomly chosen from whoever's commented that is subscribed. And I do have to be able to see that you're subscribed. So just in case, you might want to go to your settings and make sure that subscribers can see when you subscribe to their channel, because I do have to be able to verify that you're a subscriber, and I can't do that if I can't see that you're subscribed. So pretty simple. That's how the giveaway is going to work, and I haven't decided exactly what all is going to be in the giveaway this time, except I am going to be giving away the chalice that I received from 13 Moons. So that will be part of the giveaway. So that's going to be exciting. My hair's grown out a little bit, and I found this thing that I really like, and I've been wearing it a lot. So quite exciting. But today I just want to tell you guys I'm actually going to be doing a book review today on Wiccapedia. Sorry, I'm using my front camera because it's easier to see what I'm doing. But Wiccapedia, A Modern Day White Witch's Guide by Shawn Robbins and Leanna Greenaway. I will get more into this in a moment. I wanted to share with you guys a special project that I'm going to be doing for my sister for Mother's Day, because she just had a baby and it's her first ever baby. This is a book. My Big Book of Stories and Rhymes, illustrated by Peter Stevenson, and it has like pretty much every nursery rhyme and childhood story that you can think of in it. It's a very thick book, but it's also falling apart. So I am actually going to redo the covers of the book with cloth from an old shirt. I really like this shirt. But I'm going to use the cloth from the old shirt, and I'm going to retitle the book using my niece's name. And it's going to say, we'll say her name's Susan. Susan's Big Book of Stories and Rhymes. I'm going to make that the title, and I'm basically going to just redo the cover of the book and give it to my sister, and it's going to be kind of a very heartwarming thing. I don't think she even realizes that I have this book, but it's a book that we've had since we were children, and it was actually bought originally for me when I was 5 years old, which is why I got to keep the book, but I want to pass it on to my niece Ella. So it's going to be my Mother's Day present to my sister. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that because I'm really excited about it. Anyways, so on to the book review. Now, this is a super cute book. It's all shiny, and I love the green, I love the design, I love the cover. It's a nice size, it's hardback. The paper's a little bit weird, like it feels thick, it's very thick, and it feels like more than one page is stuck together, and it makes it complicated when you're trying to turn the pages. But otherwise, it's a gorgeous book. And this says, Wiccapedia, A Modern Day White Witch's Guide by Shawn Robbins and Leanna Greenaway. Live life to the... I'll read the back of the book to you guys, but live life to the fullest using simply fabulous contemporary witchcraft. This fresh modern guide written by two celebrity witches unlocks the secrets of the Wiccan universe, empowering newfound witches with a recipe for happiness. The authors aim as spiritual life coaches is to help witches realize their hopes and dreams with a little witchy know-how. In the Wicca tradition, it is believed that all things are magical. You have the power within yourself to change the world around you for the better. Wiccapedia builds on this belief by tapping into a newer branch of witchcraft based on angel energy, known as angelic Wicca, which emphasizes respect for the earth and all things living. Sean and Leanna share practical information about all aspects of modern witchcraft, from emailing or texting spells and microwaving potions to using traditional tools like the pentagram and crystals, calling upon guides and angels for support, learning how to psychically gaze into the future using a crystal ball, numerology, and even TV white noise, and interpreting dreams and signs from loved ones on the other side. Shawn Robbins is a spiritual life coach and astrologer. Her celebrity predictions have appeared in the National Enquirer, The Star, and The Globe. She was a talk show host on WABC radio and has lectured extensively on paranormal subjects. Leanna Greenaway is a popular British clairvoyant who has often appeared on the radio. She has had her own column in a popular psychic magazine, Take a Break's Fate and Fortune, for the past 12 years, and is the author of Simply Tarot and Simply Wicca. Now, first let me tell you, I do not follow the path of angelic Wicca. I did not see this book in person before I bought it. I read the description on Amazon. I don't know if it's been updated, but at the time that I read the description of this book on Amazon, it said nothing about angelic Wicca. Nothing about that. It was just saying Wicca and White Witch's Guide. I don't consider myself to be a dark witch. Or a black witch. I don't do spells that cause harm to other people. So, I just thought regular book on Wicca and kind of an encyclopedia. So, it's kind of hard to rate this book. If I were to rate it on a scale of 10, I would give it a 5. 1, I don't follow the angelic Wiccan path, so there's kind of a fair chunk of the book that's about angelic Wicca that kind of didn't really do anything for me. Now, if you do follow the angelic Wiccan path, this would probably be a pretty decent book for you to get. If I were on the angelic Wiccan path, I'd probably give this a 6.5 or a 7. The reason it's still not a very high score is just because of the way that the authors write. Sorry for saying a lot. I gotta get out of that habit. So, I like my authors to be a little more humble, have a little more humility. It kind of puts me off when the authors kind of try to toot their own horn or brag about themselves. And the authors kind of do that kind of a lot in here. And it kind of bothers me. Like, every time that they talk about themselves, I cringe because I knew that they were basically going to put themselves on a pedestal a little bit, which, I mean, if you have abilities and you're really good at magic, that's fine, but do you really have to write about how good you are at something? Or, just, do you really have to do you have to tell that anecdote and tell everyone how good you are and then sell that writing to thousands of people? I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of what you can do or what you have done. It comes off as bragging in this book. And it kind of made me cringe every time I was going to read it, and kind of made it hard to get through the book because I felt myself disassociating with the author so much. So that was one problem that I had with the book. The other problem was, it's not really about my path, and at least a third of the book is just about angelic Wicca. And, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind learning about other forms of Wicca, but It's probably the form of Wicca, tradition of Wicca, that I'm kind of the least interested in. So, but if you are interested in angelic Wicca, this would probably be pretty good. And I was really expecting this to be more of an encyclopedia, which, Wiccapedia, you know, I really thought it was going to be more encyclopedic. And it's not really until the second half of the book that it kind of starts to get encyclopedic and starts to give you information about different things. So that is one plus of the book, is it does go into detail, at least a bit of detail. It gives you an overview of different subjects that I've actually not read about in any other books yet, especially in introductory books for Wicca or witchcraft. So that was a really neat aspect. Like, it talks about making talismans. It talks about, well, it talks about your destiny in the appendix. But before that, it goes into information about pendulums, which sometimes are mentioned in other books, but I mean, this actually goes into detailed information about pendulums, what the different stones mean if they're used as a pendulum, what different shapes mean, and how you actually use them. Let's see. It also goes into a bit about numerology. It talks about scrying. It talks about tarot cards. It talks about different forms of psychic ability. It talks about hand fastings, which have been mentioned, and sometimes they go into a little bit of detail, but it goes more into it here. It talks about familiars. It talks about what the different kinds of animals and totems mean in Wicca and in witchcraft. And it talks about the different moons. And it really does. It goes into detail about certain things that I don't actually see in other books. And that's nice, because that gives me an idea of, well, hey, I found this interesting, so I should do more research into this because I think I would like it. One thing, it really goes into kind of it does a nice overview of tea leaf reading or tasseography. And it really does, like, it goes into those things, gives you a nice overview, which will give you an idea of whether you want to learn more about it, because you can realize, hey, I'm interested in this, or no, that doesn't seem like it's for me. So I like that aspect of it. It took a while to get to that aspect of it, because pretty much the first half of the book isn't like that. And that kind of bothered me, because I really, really expected it to be like that throughout the whole book. So, because it's not what and the thing is, the description of it makes you think that it is going to be an encyclopedia of Wicca, an overview of a ton of things, to give you an idea so that you can possibly branch out and find things that you're interested in without having to buy a book for each subject before you know that you're interested in it. So, that's what I expected. That's not what I got. And it's not about my path. And it's about the path that I'm kind of least interested in. So for that reason, I personally give it a 5. If I were an angelic Wiccan, or if I were interested in that path, I'd give it a 6.5 or a 7. I think this book could have been much more than it was. And when the authors aren't kind of bragging about themselves, they know what they're talking about. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate how straightforward the writing is. So there is that. The writing's straightforward. It's very informative. But some of the anecdotes just kind of bothered me, because they did just come off as kind of, sometimes they came off as humble brags, and sometimes it just kind of outright came off as tooting their own horn, putting themselves on a pedestal kind of bragging. So that bothered me, because I like it when the authors make it not about themselves, because this is a book to give someone information. And this first line on the back of the book, this fresh modern guide written by 2 celebrity witches, that right there, the they're described as celebrities and they kind of consider themselves celebrities, and you can kind of tell that. And I don't know, I wouldn't consider them as celebrities. So maybe where they live, they are considered celebrities. I wouldn't really consider them so, and I had never actually heard of them before I read this book. So, I don't know, it just seems a little too braggy to me, and it's not quite what I thought it was. It about halfway lives up to what I thought it was, and that part is great. That part's really great, the part that is actually an encyclopedia type experience. That part is fantastic, and I really like it. That's the only thing that kind of saves this book for me. And the fact that the writing, when they're not talking about themselves, is straightforward and easy to understand. I do think it's also interesting they offer a lot of modern spell casting techniques. A little weird to me just because I don't think that cell phones really have a place in spellcasting, except possibly as having yourself a digital version of your BOS. But for people who do like to incorporate technology in their magic, this will give you some ideas for that. But yeah, so that's my overall opinion of the book. It could have been better. It would have been better if it was what it was described to be. But I guess that's all I've got to say about this one. So I do recommend purchasing it just because for the things that it does cover for the encyclopedic aspect, it would save you money on having to buy a book for each of those subjects to get a taste of it first here to see if you are interested. So 5 to 6.5, and I would kind of recommend buying it. Just if you, mostly it does, the things that it does mostly for encyclopedic are actually divination categories. So that's what it got the most encyclopedic about. So if you have a wide interest in divination and subcategories of divination, then I would recommend purchasing this because this would give you an overview on several types and give you an idea on whether you want to study one of those areas more. So there you have it. It's a very pretty book though. It is a very, very pretty book. Now, the next book that I'm going to read is another one from this series, the Modern Witchcraft series, which I've already read the Modern Witchcraft I don't know if it was called Book of Witchcraft or but the one that is about witchcraft / Wicca. And I've also read the Modern Witchcraft book about grimoires. And now I'm going to read the Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot, Your Complete Guide to Understanding the Tarot by Skye Alexander. I did recently get a new tarot deck, and I've never put a lot of great effort. I've used tarot before, and I've done tarot readings for myself, and I find that they're usually pretty accurate, but I've never put a lot of effort into studying them, and I would like to get really good at it, because it is a form of divination that I'm actually very interested in. And so I have this book because I do actually want to get every book in this series, because the series is pretty interesting so far, and always has tons of information in it. But I also really want to get better and learn more about the tarot, especially since I got a new deck that I absolutely love, and I really want to kind of start off on the right foot with that deck. So this will be my next book. This will be my next review. I'm sorry if I seemed a little bit harsh on this book. I know this book has gotten a lot of positive ratings and a lot of positive reviews from people, but you know what? Not everybody's going to like the same thing, and I don't want to sugarcoat anything. This is just my honest opinion about this book. I would buy it again, just because I did get information from it, and that is, for me, that's the test whether I feel a book was worth it, whether I learned something from it. And I did learn something from this, that I am interested in some other forms of divination that I thought that I wasn't, but I will end up learning about more in the future and getting more books about in the future. And I learned something about the angelic Wiccan path, so there's that. It's give or take. It's still something that I learned, so there you have it. Alright, that's all I've got for you guys today. So love, light, and blessings, and blessed be. Mwah.